This is the automatic inflatable camping tent from Yoking, the 3-4 person. I went into this with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. I've had my share of air mattress drama, and the idea of trusting my shelter to air beams and a battery felt risky. After a few weekends out, late arrivals, changing weather, kids running in and out, my opinion has shifted a lot. On the outside, it's a clean beige with a square footprint, about 82.6 by 82.6 inches and 68.9 inches tall at the peak. The fabric is 210D Oxford with a silver coating on the inside, so it feels thicker and a bit more substantial than typical lightweight tents. The floor is Oxford too, and the seams are heat sealed, which in plain English means the stitching lines are sealed to keep water out. The air columns are covered in fabric sleeves, and inside those sleeves are TPU bladders. TPU is a tough, flexible plastic that handles bending without cracking. The doors are D-shaped with big mesh panels, and there are roof vents up top. Zippers feel dependable. I've been yanking on them with sandy hands and haven't had a snag yet. The carry bag is about 26 by 10 by 9 inches, so it's long and chunky, not backpack size. And the whole thing is around 6 kilograms for the tent, with more weight in the package once you add pegs and accessories. From my experience, setup is the hook. I clear the ground, stake the 4 corners so it doesn't balloon away, and press the single button. The built-in pump does the work in right around 2 minutes. There's a pressure-limiting valve to keep things safe, so I'm not hovering over it, anxious about overdoing it. The first time I inflated it in a drizzle at dusk, I just stood there and watched it take shape. No poles, no guessing which segment goes where, and no wrestling with sleeves. I've also set it up solo with a kid asking for snacks every 30 seconds, and it's easily one-person friendly. Inside, the shape feels more cabin than dome. The near-vertical walls give a lot more usable space than the old sloped tent style. I can comfortably move around without crouching all the time, and that changes the vibe. I've used it with 2 adults and a kid. A queen air mattress fit along one axis, with room left for a small camp table and duffels along the sides. With 3 adults, it's still comfortable. 4 is doable, with slimmer pads and less gear. But 3 is that sweet spot. Ventilation is good. The 2 doors, big mesh windows, and roof vents keep air moving, and I didn't get that sticky, stale feeling you sometimes get after a humid night. Weather-wise, I've had it in steady rain for a few hours, and the 3,000mm waterproof rating did its job. Quick explainer. That number is a lab way of saying the fabric can resist a tall column of water pressing down on it before leaking. Anything above 1,500mm is typically considered waterproof for tents, so 3,000mm is solid for typical storms. The seams stayed dry, and the floor didn't wick water up. I won't call it a storm shelter for extreme mountain winter camping, and the brand itself suggests avoiding heavy rain or blizzards. But for regular car camping weather, it handled everything I threw at it. In gusty wind, the air beams flex and spring back instead of creaking like poles. That flex is comforting. There's no cringe moment waiting for a snap. There are a couple of quirks that new users should expect. Air changes with temperature. On a hot afternoon, pressure creeps up. At night, when it cools, pressure drops. In my opinion, a quick check morning and afternoon is part of the routine. I've let a little air out on a hot midday and topped it off with a quick button press in the morning. It takes seconds, but it's worth mentioning if you're new to inflatable frames. The other thing is teardown. Deflation is fast, but getting every last puff of air out so it fits back into the bag is the work part. I open the valves, fold in thirds, and roll toward the openings while kneeling along the roll to squeeze out the air. It's not hard, but it's a process. I've learned to take a minute and do it right once, or I fight the bag twice. Key features that stand out to me are the 1-button integrated pump with the safety valve, the 210D Oxford fabric with PU coating and heat-sealed seams, the double-layer TPU air columns for structure, the 2 big D doors with mesh for cross breeze, and the top vents that keep humidity down. The footprint of 6.89 by 6.89 feet with a 5.74-foot peak feels generous for a 3 to 4 person rating, and the freestanding design is practical on hard-packed sites. It comes with guylines and steel stakes, plus 2 short poles for the door awnings, which help with shade and drip lines. It's rated for 4 seasons, but from my experience, I'd consider it a 3+ season tent. Great for shoulder seasons and cool nights, with caution in extreme winter or severe storms. As for day-to-day use, this tent has made late arrivals painless. I've set it up after dark without a headlamp ballet. I've also used it on a windy beach day, staked and guyed out, it didn't feel sketchy. Inside, the silver-coated fabric does knock down some heat and UV, and I didn't feel like I was cooking under direct sun. The zippers run cleanly around the curves of the doors, which matters when you're getting in and out all day. On condensation-heavy nights, the combination of roof vent and opposite door airflow kept the ceiling from dripping on me the way older tents used to. The one worry I had, punctures, hasn't bitten me. I do clear the pitch carefully and use a footprint to protect the floor and beams. I've had one sagging beam scare, which turned out to be a slightly loose valve cap. Tightened it with the little tool included and it held pressure fine after that. Because I don't like single points of failure, I carry a small manual backup pump in the car, just in case. I haven't needed it, but it's cheap insurance if you're heading off-grid. The big trade-off is portability. This isn't for backpacking. At around 6 kilograms for the tent and a bit more in the package, it's a trunk and tailgate item. It's perfect for car camping, music weekends, beach days, and quick overnights where convenience matters more than shaving ounces. From my experience, the time you save on setup is time you get back for cooking, fishing, or chasing kids around. What I like most, and this is the heart of it for me, is how livable it feels for the size and how little energy it takes to get camp established. The near-vertical walls make a small footprint act big. The beams absorb gusts instead of fighting them. The fabric feels tough without being plasticky, and the waterproofing is real, not marketing fluff. The pump does exactly what it says, and the pressure-limiting valve takes the anxiety out of inflation. I also appreciate that the doors are wide and low enough that I'm not crawling through a tiny hole at 2 a.m. There are trade-offs. You need to think about power for the pump, keep an eye on beam pressure with temperature swings, and give yourself a couple extra minutes on the cack down to roll air out. In my opinion, those are fair asks for what you get back in simplicity and comfort. I'd recommend this for families, new campers who don't want to wrestle poles, solo parents setting up while multitasking, and anyone who wants a comfy base without building a tent the old-school way. It's also a great fit for people who value quick setup at a lake campsite or want to do short trips without fussing around. In conclusion, this tent delivers on the promise of quick, low-stress camping and adds a surprisingly roomy, comfortable interior on top of that. I'll keep using it for car trips and weekend getaways where I want to hit a button, toss gear inside, and call it a night. If your plans include long hikes or alpine storms, this isn't the pick. If your plans are drive-up sites, family weekends, and easy comfort, it hits the mark. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the automatic inflatable camping tent. Thank you for watching.